Hey guys, Rodney Walker here with Grant Central USA. Thank you for signing up to learn more about how to actually write a grant proposal in half the time. Now, I know many of you are there and you're looking and wondering, Rodney, how do I write a grant, let alone write a grant in half the time? I'm going to be sharing with you some concrete things that you can do to be able to make that a reality. Now, I know when I first started doing grant writing, it was very intimidating when I first started. But it doesn't have to be as intimidating as it is because in all actuality, a grant proposal is just that. It's like what you are proposing to do. And I want to remove some of the scariness of it because a lot of times what keeps people from being able to do this is fear. And I want you to be able to move past your fears so that you can see yourself being able to do it because you actually can. And this skill literally, not figuratively, literally changed my life. It changed it for the better. And I want to share with you exactly how you can go about writing your grant proposal in half the time so that you can move more toward what you really want to do. Some of you I've had a chance to talk to, and some of the things you want to do, you got some big things in mind that you want to do and some big goals. Some of you are thinking about starting nonprofits. Some of you are already working for nonprofits. Some of you are even thinking about doing this as a business. And I want to show you how you can write your grants in half the time. Now, let's go and take a look real quickly. I want to show you exactly what I mean. And I've kind of diagrammed some things for you so that you can kind of see what this whole process looks like so that you can actually learn it yourself as well. I'm going to share with you those three things you've got to do immediately if you're going to be able to write these proposals in half the time so that you can get started and make things happen. So let's go real quickly right now into the boardroom and let's take a look at a couple of things. Let me get some light on in this place. And let's take a look first at how do you write a grant proposal in half the time. And what do we need to do to make this a reality? Now, here's what we've got to do. If you're going to write a grant proposal, first of all, you're going to write a grant proposal in half the time. First and foremost, you got to know what a grant proposal is. And it's kind of like what I just told you just a second ago. It is what you are proposing that you will do if the funder gives you money to make that happen. Now, one thing I like to think about when I'm doing any type of grant proposal or any type of project, the first thing I like to think about is, hey, first and foremost, I'm going to do what I'm proposing to do, whether they give me the funding or not. So that's kind of a mindset issue there. But let's go back and take a look at what I was just sharing with you just a second ago. And let's take a look and see what this actually means. First, if you're going to do this, you're going to actually have to first have a project. So when we start thinking about what you're going to be doing, the first thing is you've got to have a project. And your project is basically going to be addressing the who, what, when, where, and how. So if you want to be able to do it in half the time, the very first thing is you've got to have that project. No project, you're going to have wasted time. And when you get clarity on what the project is, the who's going to be doing it, the what, the when, and how, it makes it so much easier. So if you can gather that information on the front end, it makes your job half as hard as it normally would be. So get that information. Second thing is you've got to understand the process. So you see here the process, what I mean by process is you got to understand how all of this works from beginning to ending. You got to know what you got to do first. You got to know what you got to do second. So if you don't understand the process, you can't move forward. So we've got to make sure that we get clarity on the process. Now, the process typically, let me give you the real big overview of the process. When we start talking about the process of grant writing, we're literally saying this. We're saying, how does this whole thing work? How does it all come together? So first, most of the time, there's a funder, and that funder is making a announcement to the general community. Hey, we have a funding opportunity. We're giving away monies in this area because we want to see this happen. So they're making a general announcement. Once that announcement is made, then the public has an opportunity, and these organizations have an opportunity to apply. So that's the second thing. You make a application, and that's the part that we're talking about right now, the actual proposal. After you make that actual proposal, you submit it to that funder, and then later on that funder will review the various proposals and decide which ones they want to fund. And hopefully one of the ones they want to fund will be one of the ones that you will be submitting. And then they let the community know which ones they funded, and then you go about doing the work and producing what you propose that you would do. So that's kind of like the big picture of the process in a quick nutshell. Now, let's take a look at what else has to happen if you're going to write a grant in half the time. I want to see you do this. I believe you can. So you're going to write a grant in half the time. You got to understand the project. You have to have a project. You got to understand the process, but you've also got to take a lead. Yes, you got to take action. You can't just sit around. You got to start somewhere. You got to start, and I always recommend that people start where you're at. Start right now, wherever you're at, and run with it. Because if you don't start now, then when? You can do it. Let me tell you this. When I learned this skill literally, not figuratively, it literally changed my life. And I believe it's going to change yours. How did it change my life? Well, now, when I was first starting out, I didn't realize that I could put some words down on paper, and those words that I wrote on paper could get funding, that could bring more good to various communities, that could help children be able to learn better, that could help families be able to function healthier, that could help people that were juvenile delinquents be able to get jobs, and it could help people that had mental illness become better, on and on and on. And so millions of dollars have been raised by this simple yet powerful skill of being able to put something in writing. Now, I want to share a little bit more with you about what actually goes inside of the proposal, because how can we write a proposal in half the time if we don't even know what goes inside of the proposal? So let's take a look real quickly at what that looks like. And I made this little simple chart, and here's what it is. What goes in a proposal? Now, I got the dollar bills there because it's powerful how you can have a proposal and propose what you're going to do, and then somebody gives you money. And here are those things real quickly. The first thing is you've got to have a title page and a table of content. And this is what would go inside of a proposal that you would be submitting in writing. Now, there are a lot of proposals these days that are not in writing. These are, when I say in writing, they're not in a printed piece of paper. They are done online. So for those that are online, you won't necessarily need a title page or a table of content. But for the other ones, most likely you will. Okay, so we're going to need that. Then typically there is an executive summary. This is like a summary of what is contained in most of the proposal, that what you're proposing. And that's normally just 1 page long. And then the next part, you have a statement of need. Now, the statement of need is where you're sharing with the funder, hey, this is why this project is needed. Not just, oh, I need some money so I can go to work. No, not that. Why is the project actually needed? Why is it needed now? Why is it needed for this community? Why is it needed, and what's the impact that it's going to have? Are you beginning to kind of see how this works? The next thing that we have, by the way, that needs statement is normally 2 pages long. The next part is the project description, where you're describing what we talked about over here earlier. Remember I said you've got to have a project. So you're simply describing the project. And so that description normally is about 3 pages long. And the next part we have is the budget. Now the budget is typically 1 page. And I'm giving you the recipe that would be with a private foundation grant. Now when you start talking about government grants, those budgets can be longer. And oftentimes they will require you to tell what's happening line by line. And they call that a budget narrative. But for our sake right now, for the foundation grants, we're typically talking about 1 page. And the next part, you have the organizational information, and that's normally 1 page long. And then the final part is a conclusion. That's normally 2 paragraphs, just 2 paragraphs. So let's add all of this up. Well, let me tell you about one other part. It's the appendix, and this is other stuff that's going to kind of go toward the end. Any type of supporting documents you have supporting what you just made mention in this proposal. But let's do the math. We got 1 page here, 2, so we got 3, and 3 here, so that's 6, 7, 8, and then 2 other paragraphs. So when we start talking about a proposal, my friend, we're only talking about 8 pages. Many of you wrote 8-page papers when you were in college, but you didn't get funded for it. You were actually probably paying the college back. But think about it, 8 pages that can actually produce money. I know when I first learned about grant writing and thinking, well, I can write some words and These words can tell about a program, a need in the community, a need for my nonprofit organization, a need from this governmental organization, and someone turn around and give me funding. Wow. That was powerful to me. And you can do the same too, my friend. You can start right where you're at. When you do that, powerful things can happen. Now, I gotta go for now, but I wanna make sure that I let you know what's coming next, because I got something really good for you. You know, many grant writers, especially those that are just starting out, are surprised that most funders do not want you to send in a grant at first. In fact, they want you to send something else first. And in the next training that I'm going to give to you, I have another short video that's going to help you with some really concrete information. I'm going to share with you what funders really want you to send in first. They don't want you to send the proposal in first. That's something else. So if you send your proposal in first, you're making a big mistake. So make sure that you stay tuned, and I'll send that information to you. And I'm going to go through how to do a good one of the things that they actually want you to send in. I'll talk to you soon. Take care, and all the best.